Hello everyone, I'm Charlie Towers and welcome to an edition of Motorsport Newsround here on YouTube. It's been a while, but we're back and I'm going to be talking about the latest motorsport news. It's been the Triple Crown weekend of motorsport, the Indy 500, of course, the Monaco Grand Prix for Formula 1, and also NASCAR as well, and plenty of other championships, BTCC. There's so many series that have happened. Let's give you a quick rundown. So the first event was the Formula 1 Monaco Grand Prix. It took place in Monaco. And Charles Leclerc claimed his first ever victory in the Principality, his home race. First victory for Charles Leclerc in a couple of years, since the 2022 Austrian Grand Prix, to be exact. But yes, Leclerc won, Ferrari's first win. Ferrari, funny enough, second win of the season as well for Ferrari, funny enough. They won in Australia, didn't they? After Max Verstappen retired. Leclerc won, this time it's the other Ferrari of Leclerc, not Sainz. Leclerc won the race. And the Monaco Grand Prix, the entertainment was kind of mixed, really. Obviously, it was dominated by a first lap crash that I'll get onto in a minute. Oscar Piastri was the best of the McLarens, finishing in second position. Chased all the way, actually, by Ferrari's Carlos Sainz Jr. in third. Piastri, the best of the McLarens. Lando Norris slower than his teammate all weekend. Still managing fourth place, though, for the one-time race win. Of course, he won in Miami for his maiden F1 victory. George Russell finished in fifth position. That was despite Max Verstappen catching him towards the end of the race. Red Bull having a difficult weekend. Sergio Perez even failed to get out of Q1 on the Saturday. Only 18th fastest, but he was involved on a first lap crash, which took out several drivers. The two Hasses of Magnussen and Hulkenberg both got involved. Perez was essentially launched into the air, and his car basically had no body pretty much left on it. It was sheared in half, his Red Bull RB20. As a result, Perez ended up retiring from the Monaco Grand Prix as a result of that. And it was a red flag after the first lap as well, by the way. Sainz locked up, had a lot of contact with Piastri, but obviously the safety car came out and stuff like that. It was red flagged as well. And changes for that. Lewis Hamilton was 7th, again, losing to his teammate. As well, Lewis Hamilton, unfortunately finishing a better showing for Mercedes, definitely, around the streets of Monaco. I have to say, though, definitely Lewis Hamilton wasn't that bad in Monaco. Definitely looked better, but still George Russell quicker than his teammate again, as that's been the theme in most of the year. RB, Yuki Tsunoda, getting an 8th place finish. That's a great result for RB, I have to say. Yuki Tsunoda's been much better than Daniel Ricciardo this year. Questions about Ricciardo's future are still up in the air at RB. 9th going the way of Alex Albon in the Williams, his first points of 2024. And Williams' his first points of the season as well. And Pierre Gasly 10th. That was despite having a first lap incident with his teammate Esteban Ocon, which I have to say, Ocon tried a very audacious move down at Portier. It didn't work. And ended up taking himself out of the race. What did Ocon do? He tried to take his teammates out at Portier. Tried an overtake. He knew it wasn't going to work. So I'm sorry, Esteban Ocon. Potentially being benched for the next round in Canada. You were very, very desperate, my friend. It was an ill-judged, absolute, misogynistic overtake that was never going to work. What was that all about? Esteban Ocon's been known for that. He's always been a very kamikaze style driver in F1, and to be honest with you, talking about Alpine are actually getting very serious. Bruno Firmin's actually saying he could be dropped, which is quite huge, really, I think. As well, Alonso was 11th, 2 laps down. Aston Martin again having another difficult weekend, no points again for Alonso after another awkward qualifying. Ricciardo, Bottas, Alfa Romeo again off the pace all weekend. Sargent 15th. Zhou was really bad over Monaco. So were Kick Sauber as well. Obviously, Ocon, Perez, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, as I mentioned, with the DNFs as well. Next race, Canada. 9th of June as well. And I think Leclerc is only now at 24 points behind Verstappen in the World Championship. Red Bull had a difficult weekend. Not a track that they think the car was suited to that well. Verstappen really struggling in the second sector of that lap as well. Moving on to the Indy 500 now, and it was a double win, doubles, back-to-backs for Joseph Newgarden winning that one. The Team Penske driver fought off Pato Award on the last lap showdown. With only a couple of corners to go, Newgarden made the overtake Pato O'Ward was so unlucky for Owen McLaren. They could have took a huge win at the venue, but in the end, it was Joseph Newgarden, the American, claiming the win. Pato O'Ward very unlucky in that race. Unfortunately, finishing in second place, only 3/10 off the end. Scott Dixon done a great recovery drive, finishing in third position for Chip Ganassi. Rossi was fourth, another good showing from him. Palau was fifth. Scott McLaughlin, the pole sitter, was sixth. Carl Kirkwood was seventh. Santino Ferrucci, eighth. As well, Arvan Kamhout was ninth. And Connor Daly completed the top 10 as well. And in terms of the rookies, Kyle Larson was 18th. That was despite making it through to the Fast 6 the previous weekend, qualifying at 5th on the grid in the McLaren. I'm lucky for Kyle Larson. He was a contender, actually, to potentially win that race, but he, I think, had punctures and just late race on. He was doing a double that day. He was also at Charlotte for the Coca-Cola 600, so obviously he does compete in the Cup Series full-time for NASCAR. Obviously, that's why the Indy 500 is such a unique event, because drivers can take part. It is the only event on the motorsport calendar that allows, and particularly as well on IndyCar, that allows drivers from other series to take part, as it's a very promising, very huge event on the calendar there. But yeah, the IndyCar race, obviously, we saw some big crashes. Tom Blomqvist and the 2022 winner, Marcus Ericsson, both collided on the first lap. As well, Ericsson got taken out on the first lap. It was a huge crash. Marcus Ericsson had a very bad qualifying. Pietro Fittipaldi also got involved as well. Colton Herta also crashed out as well from 13th. Promising Charles from 13th to 2nd. As well, Will Power had a crash as well. So many drivers, big names went out. And yeah, that was the Indy 500 there. Also, you can go online to watch the NTTT IndyCar series as well. That's in America. In terms of other sports, the British touring cars also raced at the weekend as well. I haven't watched any of these races, by the way. I've got to catch up on the highlights. They raced at Snetterton. Snetterton moving to an earlier slot this year. Jake Hill claiming the victory on the first race, with Bobby Thompson second, Ash Sutton third, Ken Camish fourth, Andrew Watson was fifth in race 1. Obviously, race 2 was hampered by changeable weather. Jake Hill done the double, took the win in race 2 ahead of Dan Camish in second, Josh Cook third, Mikey Doble fourth. A very good result for Mikey Doble, actually, in that Power Max Racing car Vauxhall Astra there. And Tom Chilton taking fifth, the highest place of the Bristol Street Motors Hyundai i30 drivers. And that race also, I believe, Ash Sutton crashed out on as well. I think Sutton did actually aquaplane off the track. It was changeable conditions at Snetterton all that weekend. And then in race 3, for the first time in 20 years, Rob Huff won the final race, I think in wet conditions. Rob Huff drove brilliantly. Great win for him. Ahead of Aidan Moffat in second. Josh Cook third. Tom Ingram fourth. And Ash Sutton in fifth. Obviously, that was the reverse grid race as well. And in terms of the actual standings, Sutton still leads the championship on 121 points, ahead of Turkington by 10. Tom Ingram and Jake Hill are both tied third on 110 points. And then fifth is Josh Cook on 84. The next race for the British touring cars is going to be on the 8th and the 9th of June. We're going to the fastest circuit on the calendar, Thruxton. And also as well, one more thing before we go, the Coca-Cola 600 took place at the weekend for the Cup Series for NASCAR as well. I can confirm to you that Christopher Bell was declared the winner after the race was suspended after bad weather. He finished ahead of Brad Keselowski, William Byron, Tyler Reddick, Denny Hamlin and Ty Gibbs, completing the top 6 in that one. And there was a couple of big moments in that race as well. A few drivers came together. Obviously the race before, Ricky Stenhouse and Kyle Busch had a big crash. But yes, so that's it then there. And the next one for NASCAR, they're going to Gateway Motorsports Park in Illinois for the Enjoy Illinois 300, presented by Ticket Smarter. So that's the next race for the NASCAR team. That's all from the Motorsport News Roundup today. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Charlie Tice. We'll see you again next week for another edition. Take care. Goodbye.